guys, it's your girls, Miss Shorts,
Beep.
And Juliet.
and welcome to another episode of 92 Diaries. Today's episode is what we've been talking about for so long. It is support systems, how to get them, the truth behind them, and the importance. So, guys, I'm gonna leave it up to you. Y'all take it away because we really need to bog down in this. People need these support systems. We've been talking about them in so many episodes, and people need to know what's up. So, Julie, what's your view
Oh, view what? Huh?
on
What do you mean?
support systems, girl? You be act confused. This is the blondness. This is the blondness that I've been talking about.
Okay. I think what's it called? It's not necessarily like a controversial topic. Like I'm like, where's all this vim coming from? It's meant to be cutesy and girly and stuff. But honestly, though, I think having a really good support system, I think, is key for everything in your life when it comes to sort of navigating your way through all of your tough stages as well as all of your good ones as well. Having that strong support system enables you to be able to look out for yourself in the best way you can, and to also kind of have someone that you can fall back on, and also having someone who can celebrate those good times with you as well. So having that good support system, I think, is crucial for going through anything in life.
See?
Hand on heart, I will say I'm probably better at the latter than, like, I'm really good at being there when shit hits the fan. I'm not so good at being there when things are going good, just because I don't feel like I have a role. Does that make sense? That makes sense a bit stupid. Like, not that I'm not happy for you or anything. I'm very happy, but it's just one of them things. Like, God.
Is it that you have to feel like you have to smile and pretend, as opposed to, okay, what's the problem? Like, problem solve. Your strength is problem solving as opposed to
I wouldn't
just
even
being
say,
in the moment.
I wouldn't even say just problem solving. I just feel like I'm always just the pillar or the soundboard. I wouldn't say, I don't think I'm a problem solver. I'm more so a soundboard. People talk to me about, they feel that they can talk to me about anything. And I don't know, maybe it's just because there's no judgment on my side, or it's just, I'm here to help. Whatever it is that you need, like, whatever it is you think I can do for you, let me know and I'll see what I can do to accommodate. I think that's very important. In terms of the importance of a support system, I think it's very important to have one. You guys mainly are my own. That partially because I don't really talk to any other girls. You're the only two girly friends I have. And then my parents, of course. So when stuff hits the fan for me, it's normally one or the other. Although I can be quite bad, I normally won't say anything until it's really, really bad.
I hate when you do that.
It's not something that's deliberate. It's just I'm very much... It's not, I don't know why I do what I do. It's just what happens. It's not that I'm not aware that I don't have a support system. I am aware. It's just that I don't feel the need to notify anybody about anything until I feel like, okay, I can no longer control this situation anymore, or I don't know what I'm doing, or I've done everything that I think I can do and nothing has worked. So then I go and seek my support system. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
But it is still very important to have one. It's not that I do these things on a whim just because I want to prove I can do it on my own. No, it's just I go when I feel like the time is right.
Okay.
I think there are characteristics to your support system, and each person has different, or should have different, characteristics to their support system, and it does base on their individual personality and, like, motivational tactics and motivational, attributes. At the same time, it depends on what you're looking to gain from other people. So some people's characteristics that they're looking for in a support system is what you can gain in terms of knowledge, or what you can gain in terms of motivation. Do they motivate you more than you motivate yourself? Is there more of a logistic point of view from that person? Do they analyze things like slightly better than you, or certain factors and things? I think you have to think about what you have as a person, what you're good at, and then what you're lacking, and then what you lack, you need to look for in your support system. So in terms of forming one, that is a massive factor of forming a support system, a good support system. What you look for is things. You have to look for the things that you like as a person, and even the things that you're good at doesn't mean that it doesn't need challenging. It doesn't mean that you just shut up and keep quiet and I've taken my part on this and then everyone else needs to contribute to the other parts where I'm weakened. No, sometimes you need to be challenged on the part that you're strong in or strong at. However, ideally, a very good support system is someone or some people who can add value to the places in which you are lacking, as a point of view or as advice or something like that. Also, the next point is that you really need some people, majority, but some people, because not everyone going to do that, but some people who will tell you the truth, like legit, pure, blank, even if you don't like it the way they say it, fam, you need people who are just gonna lay it out. Cards on the table, all in all,
no
the
nonsense.
truth. No nonsense. Yeah. And you may not always be very perceptive or what's the word? Receptive, yeah, of how they say it or what they say. But baby girl or baby boy, y'all need to listen to what they say, because sometimes the truth is just the truth, and bittersweet it may be, you need to hear it. Period. So you need those kind of friends or those kind of family or interactions where you can hear the truth, and that's part of building a very good support system.
I do think sorry to cut you off, actually. I do think I actually don't necessarily look for particular attributes that I'm missing and then look to have them in my support system. I think a lot of the people who I do kind of lean on or speak to, and most of them met by chance, or met in the different things that I do. So I guess obviously I know you guys from school and sixth form. I have people in my support system from uni, people in my support system from volunteering, people in my support system from dance classes I've been to. I think I've been really fortunate in that I've met some incredible men and women in my life who've supported me in so many different ways, and I didn't look for them. They just sort of found me and I found them, and since then we've had a friendship that has helped us both to grow, I hope. And they've really encouraged me and held me accountable, and I don't think any of my friends are afraid to call me out on my shit. So I feel like I genuinely didn't seek these people out at all, actually. I think they all sort of kind of fell into my life, and I'm super fortunate that I've met people who are like that. I don't know if it's the same for everyone else, but I genuinely didn't seek these people. I thank God for them every day, because honestly, I don't think I'd be the person I was today if it weren't for not only my friends but also my family as well. I'm very lucky to have a family who's very supportive of the things I do, even when they don't always agree.
As we can identify, Julie has a very wide support system, which is fantastic, but hindsight, most people don't. And the fact of the matter is, your friends or your so-called friends aren't always going to be your support system, and are probably not always the most reliable to be your support system, depending on the type of friends you have. As Julie has said, she's very fortunate to have the people she has in her life, and you know what? I pray for most of y'all that you'll have that, because that is magnificent. But in reality, a lot of us don't have that. Sometimes we don't even have our family as our support system,
100%.
And, the people that are closest to us, that we consider to be our best friends or closest or whatever, are the people who have the vengeance against us, or, are backstabbing us or whatever. But we are trying to really emphasize the characteristics of those who you should be calling your support system, whether they're a lecturer, whether they're an associate. They don't have to be your bestie. Sometimes your bestie is not always your bestie. You know, I'm just saying, throwing that out there, a little bit of shade. But
wow. Okay.
so people that call their friends besties, sometimes they're the ones that are the worst enemies. I'm just saying, like, you have to be looking over your shoulder sometimes, and if you're looking over your
Thank
shoulder,
God I can't relate. Because I can't.
if you're looking over your shoulder, or you're just like, yeah, I really wonder what she's talking about with that person about me. Like, is it really for the best? Or even if sometimes you find out that what they've been talking about is not the best, even though you wholly trusted them, you have to be considerate. You need to start checking that. I'm just saying.
Somebody's ears are burning because it sounds like somebody
Ooh.
is firing the hottest of shots.
Wow.
Okay.
I didn't say nothing, didn't see nothing, didn't do nothing.
Honestly, I'm not involved. I'm not involved.
Your
I
friends
don't
are
even
not
have any water
vicious
to
for
sip.
sisters.
Jesus.
And do you know what? I feel like these days it's so easy for people to be calling friends. Like, no, if you know them, they are an associate. They're not a friend, my dear. They are what? An associate. They're not a friend. So don't be calling every Jack and Harry. I love that word. Tom, Dick, and Harry, whatever. Be calling them friends because they're not all friends. Some people are legit acquaintances. Some people are associates. Some people are colleagues. Some people are, sometimes they're few and far between. Don't be calling everyone your friend. They're not. And their intentions for you aren't always friendly.
I think that's actually a fair point to kind of like bounce off of. Actually, I think sometimes when we think about the people who are in our lives, and you're trying to kind of like navigate whether or not someone could possibly be a good person to sort of like implement in your life or continue within your life or continue to meet up with, I think a lot of the time sometimes we kind of force ourselves to be friends with people because of the circumstance we're in. So maybe if you're listening and you're in school, or even if you're in uni, sometimes you stick with people because you're in the same group, or because everyone else speaks to them so you want to speak to them as well, or because you feel this pressure to speak to this person because that's what's almost expected of you. But if you feel in yourself this person isn't good for you, your morals probably don't align, your beliefs don't align, and you find yourself at loggerheads with this person, or you know what, if they enter a room, you feel a certain type of way about yourself, or you lose something in yourself because they've come in, it makes you think like, actually, is this someone who I can actually be friends with? Not because they're necessarily a bad person or they're toxic, but sometimes there is that. It might just be that person and you aren't meant to be friends, and that's okay, because like Shad said, it's not everyone you can call your friend. If you are fortunate enough to meet people who are good and you feel that you can bring something to their life and they bring something to yours, then fair enough. But if you are a friend to someone and you're constantly feeling drained, my love, that is not your friend. That person is a vampire, and they may not realize how much energy they suck from you, and you might not even see it. But if you find that you're going into a conversation with someone and you leave that conversation stressed, tired, angry, or upset, that person isn't the sort of person you want to be continuing with as your support system, because they're not your friend.
Ouch.
I love that.
It's not. It's genuinely not ouch. I feel like you get that with your work colleagues. You get that in so many different kinds of spaces, and I think it's so important that you protect your energy, guys. You have to protect your energy.
I agree. I very much agree. I'm not the best at protecting my energy, though. I never realized that my energy needs protected until it's a bit late. But I agree with what both of you are saying. Not everyone is your friend, but you also have to take in consideration some people are your friends for a certain season, and that might just be
reason, lifetime. I agree.
So, and at some point, you might have a purpose to serve in somebody else's life, and vice versa. Yeah. And when that role is fulfilled, when you've done all that you can do for that person, you wish them the best, and you move on. You don't force these things. Don't try and
you know what?
Yeah, and wish them the best. Like,
the friendship doesn't come from the longevity.
No.
Time, even if reason, season, lifetime. Sometimes people are in your life for a reason, no matter how long it is.
But I'm just
saying, a duration of time, and a lifetime, again, duration of time. But like people, yes, you may learn some things from people, but the thing is, what I'm trying to say, or what me and Jules have been trying to say, is that you can't just like be like, oh, we've chatted 5 times, my friend, hug,
No, like, I get that. Oh, I can't lie, I probably would do that.
No,
yeah,
I'm not I get that.
Not everybody like 5 times.
What I'm trying to say though is you get people who do the opposite, where it's like we've been friends for so long and now we've fallen apart, and instead of you to be like I can no longer be like we've changed so much, or we've grown so much, we've grown apart, and now we just don't fit the bill to be each other's support system anymore. And there's nothing wrong with saying, you know what, I wish you the best, and you have to go and find a new support system now. And you know what, I've got a support system that's been waiting for me on the side here. You know, they've been patiently waiting for me, so I'm going to hang out with them for a minute. And then every once in a while, you'll put up something on Instagram, and I'll put up something on Facebook. We'll like it. You know, we'll put a little smiley face on there, you know, just to show there's no malice. You know, we're still malice. I don't even know why I said it like that. It was a bit malice. There's no malice. I don't
on this one.
Malice. If you're Yoruba, you know that sounds like I said cow, like malice. That's not what I was saying. But just to show that there's no animosity and there's no bad blood between you, like kind of thing. And there's nothing.
I get that, but at the same time, I feel like it's not about pardon.
I felt like I cut her off so bad just then. I'm so sorry.
Oh, sorry, I did too. My bad.
We hear you, B.
PG. It's not about like just like saying, you know what, you know, part ways, blah blah blah. But sometimes it's just not about always claiming people who are around you so often, or people who you're so familiar with as your friends. It is about the qualities and the characteristics that they attribute to be your friend. And no offense, but you know, when we talk about case of the ex is not it doesn't just apply to you know, people who you're in a romantic relationship with. It does apply to a friendship. You know, sometimes you do have to let go, and don't be afraid of that. And sometimes you have to hold on and fight for it, because it's like, you know, and where and when, yeah, that's very questionable. I can't advise you either or, but at the same time, you have to think about both. You have to think, well, is it a time for me to let go, or is it a time for me to hold on and fight?
Or is it a time to get out the pie chart, because, you know, 50% trust, 50% not trust.
Wow.
Pie chart time, glasses, the long pen. I think it's that kind of time. It's that time.
Please. Oh, what's the opposite of please retract the pen. Is that the word?
Retract.
Yeah.
At the same time, it's not just like, you know, as I said to Julie, everyone that, you know, kind of like holds you down in one season, you embrace them and be like, oh, I definitely think you're gonna hold me down no, they're not always going to. And season, reason, and lifetime is very, very, for me, absolutely mandatory, important. Like, people are in your life for a season, people are in your life for a reason, some people are in your life for a lifetime, and you have to differentiate the two. And that self-awareness of what you want from your support system, or what you feel like not only that you lack, as Julie pointed out, but also what you feel you want to gain. And a part of that is being very self-aware, not only for the qualities that you attribute, but the qualities that you feel like you want to gain, or the feels that not just where you lack, but also where you feel like you need another perspective of. And if you're not really in touch with all the areas of perspectiveness, I don't know if that's the word, but like if you're not in touch with all those areas, yeah, you may want to, you know, revisit the areas in which you are lacking in order to gain certain qualities. But at the same time, you want to explore those places that you haven't looked. So you need some people who think outside of the box. And no offense to anybody, but Fee is my guy, my girl, my guy, whatever. She's a legitimately out of the box thinker. Like, weird and far between is where with all the love. Weird and far between. And sometimes, on very rare occasions, even though most things in my realm are logic, really weird times, she's just like him and it, which is something weird that she may say. And
I love that. I absolutely love that.
Wow.
She comes out with the best shit, and I'm just like, you know what? I ain't thought about that shit. Do you know what I mean? And sometimes you do need the out.
When has this happened? Are you sure that was me and not a different Fee?
No, babe.
Sometimes you need the out of box thinker. Sometimes you need a person who's on your wavelength, who thinks the same way you do, but can challenge the thoughts that you have come up with. You know, there's different things, but you have to acknowledge that on your own and think about what you need. Not just what you can give, but what you need. But thinking about what you have and what you can give is very important, because you can't just debate on your own. You feel
I
like
do think so, like when it comes to friendship, I think a lot, like I think we've spoken a lot about sort of like friends for a season, reason, blah blah. We've spoken about like the kinds of things you want in a friendship group, but I do think it's important to think about what you can also give back to your friends. Because I know, especially for me, because my friends have supported me so much with a lot of the things that I've done in my life, and we're talking friends of all ages, not just my like school friends or my age mates, but even aunties who are older than me who become my friends and stuff like that as well. And I think it's really important to think about what you can also give to them in return, because these people, a lot of them, it comes naturally to them to be kind and to be giving, but how often do we actually think to actually give that same energy back to our friends as well? Because sometimes they need our support, and sometimes they need us to be kind, and sometimes they need us to be that listening ear, and it's really important that you're receptive to that. And on top of that as well, it's about realizing that sometimes your friend who you lean on so hard sometimes doesn't have the emotional capacity to deal with your shit every day. And I think it's about kind of like stepping back off and sort of like respecting their boundaries and realizing, actually, I know I emotionally dump on you all the time, but at this point I can't. And I think it's been a fantastic lesson that I've only just recently learned from my friend Ashley over at Thoughts of the Mic podcast. She was talking to me about this recently, where we were talking about establishing boundaries, and I feel like she is schooling me on this because it's not something that I'm as familiar with. I think it's so important to kind of like make sure you're also giving back to your friends and respecting their boundaries, because they're people that you care about, and it's important that you show people that you care about that you actually do care about them. So do what you can to sort of make sure that they're as happy as you are, especially your strong friends, because everyone forgets their strong friend who is constantly suffering. Sometimes ask your strong friend, how are you feeling? How have you been doing? I need to call my strong friend tonight. I'm going to do that now.
Well, guys, rounding off, honestly, like, it's just your support system. You have to. I personally, I'm taking everybody's contributions into account, and personally, I feel like, yes, you have to consider the characteristics of your support system, what you want in your support system. And babes, at the end of the day, it is your choice. Like, the things where I said, like, oh, it's down to choice, and then it sounds like a blab, but I was really saying everything is your choice. Whether you want a support system that looks like this, A, or if you want a support system that looks like B, again, your choice. If you want a relationship that looks like A, if you want a relationship that looks like B, again, your choice. Everything is a choice, and I wholly believe that. But that's just me. In terms of support systems, you have to think about the characteristics you actually want from them, or what benefits you want to gain from them. And yes, as Julie rightly said, it's not just about taking, it's about giving as well. It is give and take. What can you contribute to people who rely on you as a support system? For me, I am bland as hell. I will tell you the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth, and sometimes more of the truth, and sometimes I won't shut up about the truth, and sometimes I'll add 2 cents for the truth, and all of that good shit, So for me, no filter. I just talk, and it will be the truth. But you have to think about what you can contribute, as well as what you can gain from that system. Also, as hard as it is, and I know it's hard, guys, but you gotta have a truth. People, a support system who are gonna tell you the truth.
Yeah.
That some people can cushion you, some people can sugar feeds, or just with a pinch of salt, but you have to, somewhere along the line, I'm not saying you have to have all of them that are going to give you the raw truth, because sometimes that shit hurts, but you have to at least minimum have one person in your system who will give you the truth and nothing but the truth, as raw as it may be, as painful as it may be, as hurtful, whatever, as endearing how as it may be. You have to kind of just hear it from at least one person, at least minimum, in your support system. And sometimes family is not always going to be a support system. I would love to advocate family as your support system, hands up, because my family are bloody amazing. But I realize not everyone's family is like that, and I realize that not everyone's close to their family. Also, I realize that not everyone's family has the best interests for their own family members at heart. So it's again pick and choose, and you have to use your own initiative to choose that. I can't tell you that, honey. But a family, as much as they will be I think you have to consider them as a first point of call. But they're not always going to be. So those are my 3 things.
Fee?
Oh,
I was going to say Fee, actually.
My bad.
Oh, I'm sorry.
That's what I said, Jules.
And I was like, because I wasn't ready, so I was like, Fee, I'm not ready.
I haven't really got much to say except take your time in picking the right support system, and don't subject yourself into, subject sounds a bit rude, but don't allow yourself to be somebody else's support system if you yourself are not in the right frame of mind.
Yeah.
That's it.
Okay. I think just to kind of like round off, I guess, I do think when we're talking about our support systems, it's really important to make sure that you are allowing yourself to be around people who are sort of like on a similar sort of mission in life to you, if anything at all. Not to say that you sort of like need to have like a list, but it helps if the people who are sort of like in your little tribe are kind of on the same thing that you are on, because then it means that you're kind of all going the same way. I do think it's important to make sure that you're actually giving back to your friends. If you know you have good friends, it's very important that you return that same energy, because at the end of the day, you can't be blessed with good friends and be a shitty person in return. They don't deserve that. They deserve better. And I'm calling myself out on this because I don't do it enough. Please check on your strong friends. I've literally just messaged mine. I think sometimes that person we tend to lean on when we're feeling down and we're feeling upset, we don't always check on that person to see how they are. And I think it's really important that we do kind of like every once in a while, just like, you know what, I know you're always there for me, but today I actually just want to be here for you. And if you know you're not always very good at giving the best advice or even listening, even then being like, you know what, let me take you out for lunch, breakfast, tea, coffee, it doesn't matter. Just letting this person know that they are loved and that they are appreciated when they need it is super helpful. And I really hope I swallow those words and ingest them and they become part of my own DNA, because I need to do that for my strong friends. So,
that being said, we hope you guys enjoyed tuning in tonight. And make sure you follow our social media on Instagram. It's 92.diaries. Make sure to also follow our individual social media. Make sure you comment, share, and subscribe. This will be available on YouTube, on Spotify, and what was it? Is it Google Podcasts?
Anchor, many more.
And many more. I don't I never remember all of them, but they're there.
it's a long list.
Long list, but yeah.
Guys, another takeaway point, like, you guys have to remember, listen, there's so many contributing factors, only few of which we've discussed in this podcast. And y'all need to, like, if you want us to expand a bit more, if you want us to talk about it again, if you want us to shed some different light, because we have many different perspectives, and I'm sure you can see from all of our talks, all of our different areas and fields, we have very different or controversial points. But one thing we can agree on is that a support system is in need, and it is needed no matter what you are going through. So at this point, either reach out or shout out to anyone you can that will form or can potentially form a support system for you. You're not alone in this world. Yes, you may be born alone, you may die alone, but it does not mean that the journey needs to be alone as well. So
We click for that.
Just take that into account. And as my girls have said, join us, shout us, share, like, subscribe, all that good shit that you do. And we gonna be out because we got another episode coming. You feel? Another episode next week, Tuesday evening. Join us as you do.
All right.
Good night, guys.
Good night.
Lots of love. Bye.
Yes.